Make una tell Burna Boy, Wizkid and other artists make dem no dey imitate Davido when it comes to spending. I want to give you something that you need to understand, because when people talk about generational wealth, a lot of people don't seem to understand it. From the families of Adeleke, their wealth is generational because they have been able to preserve it and also increase the value from their grandfather down to their fathers right now, and even down to the lives of Davido. So we need to understand it from a different point of view. Some people, they follow Davido, they spend money. When they buy Lamborghini, una go buy. When they buy this, una go buy. Understand the tricks around it. I want to give you some insights so that you get to understand that, man, not be as rich man pikin go dey spend money now, so you go dey spend, because you guys have different values in terms of money and in terms of businesses, or in terms of luxury. That is something you need to understand. Before I dive into the story, I want to say thank you guys for watching our videos, and thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon, to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. The difference between an artist from a rich background and an artist from a very poor background is really close to an extent, and when you don't watch carefully, you will think that you guys are the same, but you need to understand that there are some differences. Starting point: interestingly, Davido started as an independent artist to an extent because his father has to buy him off a record label deal, and that actually made Davido to be on top of the game quicker than his peers. That is something I got to understand. But when you look at the lives of Wizkid, the lives of Burna Boy, they have to be signed under a record label and they have to serve under that record label. According to Wizkid, he said he left banking without a dime and he has to start afresh again. Thank God he is there right now, and he needs to understand that he is quite different from Omo Babolowo when it comes to background to an extent, and this has an influence in their wealth to an extent. What do you have to say about it? Mindset and wealth perspective. These are quite interesting stories that you need to understand about, an artist from a rich background and also an artist from a poor background. This is applicable to individuals from rich or poor background to an extent. You need to understand that why somebody from a poor background looks at wealth or rich or becoming so rich as financial security or freedom, the other person is looking at it as financial preservation. That is the difference between you guys. That is why you find out that the lives of Davido is really chasing business investment here and there, because he needs to a kind of preserve wealth to an extent, just like his father, and which he actually learned from his father. A lot of people will understand that the lives of Wizkid, the lives of Burna Boy, and a lot of others, they are always trying to buy luxury items to impress themselves, and because they feel that they are on a place of financial freedom. But it's not like that when it comes to wealth, when it comes to wealth preservation, when it comes to like becoming richer than you are. Generational hustle versus generational wealth. This is something you need to understand. The lives of Davido, Burna Boy, and a lot of artists out there that are from a poor background, they are really doing generational hustle because they have to plant their family members into their team. Burna Boy is doing that with his mom and his sisters out there, becoming part member of the team so that they can earn in terms of the hustle. While the lives of Davido, these guys are really planting out businesses out there. I kind of understand that Davido's father has a company called Pacific Holdings, and that Pacific Holdings has 6 subsidiaries. They have agricultural subsidiary firm and other firms out there, and Davido is trying to create one for himself, and this guy has actually attached himself in businesses. And one thing you need to understand about this game is that this guy has been tutored when he was small to now that he is a rich person, and he has to think like a rich person, and he has to act like a rich one, and also learn to preserve family wealth and name. That is something a lot of people don't seem to understand. When you see artists buying a luxury items and the rest, guys, you should always advise them to also keep for future. We have the likes of Two-Face right now. These guys are not so rich right now because most of them they invest much enough. That is something you need to understand. And when you look at artists in Nigeria, the likes of Timaya got to understand it, and these guys started investing in real estate and other things. And now, even if he's not making music, this guy is still earning. The likes of P Square, they did that. The likes of Jude Okoye. But I think we have to learn from these guys. Access of education and opportunities. It is also a must for the rich people to access opportunities, education early. That is something I got to understand. When you listen to Davido, you will get to understand that at the time, his father has to drag him to school, force him into the classroom, and this guy became a graduate at the end of the day, because they understand that you still need the knowledge to actually preserve your wealth, or to actually make money to an extent, especially when you are given a quick startup. But in terms of the people from poor background, when you start making money, you don't need class again. The likes of Rema, the likes of Wizkid, and a lot of others. Even Rema tried to get admission into University of Lagos, could not actually start a program because of money done too much. But they should understand one thing, that the rich always find a way to go back to school. That is why you find out that the likes of Nitosi and a lot of others, they went back to school, and this is to preserve family wealth. The philosophy of wealth is quite different from somebody from a rich background and someone from a poor one. That is something you need to understand. The philosophy of person from a rich background about wealth is preservation of wealth, is making more money, is building empire, is like cutting across a lot of things, doing some kind of big projects out there. Why the persons from a poor background always sees it like, man, so far I don't make financial freedom, I get money to spend, all those kind of things. They don't really look at the long term to an extent. That is the difference I see here. Stability of success is another interesting story around this. You have to understand that the stability of success for somebody from a rich background is quite different from that of a poor background. One is that, yes, from a poor background is always fragile. The stability of success for the rich person is always more stable than that of the poor background person. That is something I got to understand about all of this, because the person from a rich background has more knowledge about wealth creation and the rest, and they are always interested in preserving wealth. That is why when you find out that, okay, somebody has actually lost in a business, everybody is quick to actually bring in their money to support this person, to get this person out of that business quagmire. And that is always it for somebody from a rich background, and that is something you need to understand. So when you see somebody from a rich background spending money, not spend money like him. Community impact is another thing we have to look at a point like this. When you look at the lives of Wizkid, their own impact is always community, is always people around them. Why, when you look at the lives of Davido and a lot of others, their own impact tends to be more global. They want to kind of affect a lot of people across Nigeria. They want to impact. That is why you find out that Davido is always sharing like hundreds, 300s of millions to orphanages across the country, and they have a perfect structure of doing that. But when Wizkid promised to give 100 million naira to people in a particular slum area in Lagos, this guy was throwing money virtually in the air. That is the difference you need to understand about that. So there is a different perspective around this. So what is your own take about that? I want you to put your own opinion in the comment section.